Why we do not raise our hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help? Udu'uni astajib lakum, He said subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask me and I will respond. And who is asking in the best month, in the best days and nights? Where we are, dear brothers, of dua. If we are really facing some of the calamities and difficulties, why we are not raising our hands to one who can help us? But probably, and this is our reality, there is no progress at all. There is no crisis. There is no calamities upon us as Muslims. Otherwise, we will raise our hands. But that's not the case. So, dear brothers, it is not that we have forgotten dua completely. We refer to it regularly. We do make dua. But our ideas and practice regarding dua and supplication have become distorted completely. Often, dear brothers, it is reduced to the level of a ritual. We just make dua and leave. Generally, dear brothers, it is considered when all our efforts have failed as human beings. And then, only then, we do face and raise our hands when we see there is no end. It is belittled, dear brothers, through actions and sometimes even with words. We belittling the dua. We don't respect the dua. We don't raise our hands. So, dear brothers, what a tragedy. For dua, for supplication, is the most potent weapon of a believer. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ad-du'a silahul mu'min." Dua, supplication, dear brothers, is most powerful weapon that we have. But sadly, dear brothers, it's sadly to say that we don't know how to use it. It can be changed, dear brothers. It can change our faith. Dua can change our life, our faith, while no action, no deed of ours even can. The Prophet ﷺ said, it is the essence of ibadah, of worship. Ad-du'a, mukhul ibadah. The essence of ibadah, of worship, of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dua. With it, with dua, we can never fail, dear brothers. Without dua, without it, we can never succeed. In the proper scheme, dear brothers, of things, dua, supplication, should be first and last resort of the believer, with all his plans and actions coming in between. Our day, dear brothers, that we must start with dua, and its end, dear brothers, must end with dua, and in between. And how often do we use dua, dear brothers? The most empowering conversation. Dua, dear brothers, supplication is a conversation within Allah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, between His servant and Creator, between Creator and servant, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our Lord and our Master, the all-knowing, the all-powerful, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this act, dear brothers, in itself is of extraordinary significance. Dua by itself, it is the most uplifting, liberating, empowering, and transforming conversation a person can ever have. You talk to your Lord, subhanahu wa ta'ala, your Creator, your Maker. You acknowledge your mistakes, your weakness. Seek for His help, for guidance. When we turn to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, we know that He alone can lift our sufferings and solve our problems. We feel revealed after describing our difficulties to our Creator. We feel empowered after having communicated with the Almighty. We sense His mercy, His rahmah all around us after taking to the most merciful. After we talk to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, we feel all this mercy around us. We get a new commitment to follow His path, as-sirat al-mustaqim, for that is the only path for success. We feel blessed with each such commitment. Our first and last action, dear brothers, in every difficulty, our first action is dua, and is our last, dear brothers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the way, the sirat, the path, to handle the difficulty, to be able to handle it. We seek His help, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in following the path He showed to us. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِ مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. And this is my path, so follow it, and do not follow other path, so that you go astray. So we seek His help, in making our efforts successful. The essence of worship, as the Prophet ﷺ said, الدعاء مخ العبادة. الدعاء مخ العبادة. Dua, supplication, prayer, is the essence of all ibadat, all the kind of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person engaged in dua affirms his belief in tawheed, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, monotheism, and shuns belief in all false gods and idols. With each dua, his belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grows. His faith increases. With each dua, his belief in Allah grows and increases. He beseeches Him, affirming his own powerlessness. A person seriously and sincerely engaged in dua, in supplication, in prayer, understands exactly the relationship between himself and the Creator and affirms it through his actions. That is the essence of ibadah, that is the essence of worship. Our most potent weapon, as the Prophet ﷺ said, الدعاء سلاح المؤمن. الدعاء سلاح المؤمن. Dua is a weapon, most powerful weapon of a believer. Dua, dear brothers, and supplication is our most potent weapon in all struggles of life. Everyday life, dear brothers, we are struggling. But our weapon is dua, is supplication. During the Battle of Badr, which happened in the middle of the month of Ramadan, they used to fast, but they used to fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, peace be upon him, used to pray all night long. All night, praying, supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. And the end was victory. Where we are, dear brothers, as ummah today, that we say we are suffering. And we are in the best month in the year, in the best days and nights. And we are awaiting for the best night that Prophet ﷺ said, which is the Laylatul Qadr. Where is our hands? Where we are, dear brothers of dua? Why we do not use this weapon? But probably, brothers, because we are Muslims. That's why. Because the Prophet said, الدعاء سلاح المؤمن. Dua, supplication, is a weapon of believers, of the believers, sincere worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should struggle, dear brothers, in these days to use this weapon properly, to help each other, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help everyone in this globe in order to have peace and harmony. Not to use it against each other, as usually happens, dear brothers. So dua, dear brothers, is our most potent weapon in all struggles of the life. The Prophet used it in the month of Ramadan, in the battle of the Badr. He used to pray, raise his hands and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. In the other battles, the Sith battle against the Crusaders, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, rahmatullahi alayhi rahmatan wasi'ah, was busy day and night. By day, he used to fight. By night, he used to pray in order to gain mercy and victory. Just war. And he succeeded. And where we are now, from these two examples, that we say that we are suffering, do we suffering really? If we do so, we will go back and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. Big and small, we should make it a point to make dua for all things, big and small. Because there is nothing called big and small. It is the beginning of wisdom to realize that big and small are arbitrary labels that are totally irrelevant in this context. Nothing is too big from whom we are asking from. Nothing is too small for the one who is asking. That is why we have been taught to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we need something as small as an atom. At the same time, we should ask with great hope and conviction that we shall be granted our prayers. We should remember the hadith of Prophet ﷺ when he said, لَيْسَ شَيْءٌ أَكْرَمْ عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنَ الدُّعَاءِ. There is nothing dearer, there is nothing beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a servant making dua to him. Nothing dearer, nothing beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than making dua. All the times and all needs, في كل وقت بكل وقت وحين. We should make dua, dear brothers, at all times, not only during times of distress and calamities. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, said, "Whosoever desires that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers his dua is uncomfortable and difficult condition. He should make plentiful dua in days of ease." If we want to be accepted, our dua accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the time of difficulty, so we should make dua in the time of ease, dear brothers, ease and comfort. Those who related, dear brothers, to this world as well as those related to the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us how to make dua. Once he said, Allahumma rabbana atina fi dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab. In each prayer, that's if we are praying 5 times a day. Oh Allah, we ask you the goodness in this world and the hereafter, and save us from hellfire and punishment. Oh Allah, forgive me and my parents and all the believers on the day of judgment. And you know that dua. This is the adab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us how to make dua, to ask goodness for this world as well for hereafter. And all people, dear brothers, we should make dua not only for ourselves, if we are stingy in sharing what we have from the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with, don't be stingy in making dua for all people. We should make dua for ourselves, for our families, for our spouses, brothers, sisters, parents, our kids, our community, our society, all the world, the rest of the people, dear brothers. For everyone, in order to have peace, to live in peace, and to feel secure in this age. So, dear brothers, we should pray for them, for everyone, for good of this world and for the good next one. The Prophet ﷺ said, the dua of a Muslim for his brother Muslim in his absence is readily accepted. Once you make dua for your brother and he's not here, your dua is accepted. The Prophet said, an angel, Malak, is appointed to his side. Whenever you make dua for your brother, he's not here, the angel is sitting beside you, on your side. Whatever you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, angel says, Ameen, wa laka bimithli. Ameen, and to you say. Whatever you ask. Imagine, dear brothers, the angel, the Malak, is saying Ameen on your supplication. Ask for your brothers. If they are not here for some reason, we ask Allah subhanahu to be with us. We don't know what they are facing in these days, in this time particularly. But we can make dua for them, to guide them. And the Malak will say, Ameen, and you, for you too. وَلَكَ بِمِثْلِ. Allah will reward you for that. You will not lose anything if you mention a brother's name. Look at the adab of dua that Allah taught us how to read. When we said, رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي, forgive me, وَلِوَالِدَيَّ, and then to be generous, وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, to everyone. Because usually we say, forgive me, and even in dua. But Allah taught us how to make dua in order to be accepted. So be generous in making dua, dear brothers and sisters in Islam. In the dark ages that we are living in today, if you can call it like that, every day, dear brothers, brings fresh news about atrocities committed against our beloved brothers in Palestine. Every day, even the kids, even in the month of Ramadan, they are facing so many problems. In Kashmir, in India, in Afghanistan, everywhere. What can we do, dear brothers? We can do a lot, dear brothers. Especially these days, the best days and nights in the year. Last 10 days of the month of Ramadan. Can we make dua? Dua can change our fate, dear brothers. Possible. But dear brothers, the dua can change our life, can change our faith, can take us out from this crisis that we call it. But dear brothers, it is most potent weapon, and we should learn how to use it. And lastly, dear brothers, for dua to work, and dua will work only for those who try sincerely and seriously to use it. Once we use it sincerely and properly and seriously, the dua will be accepted. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to learn how to use dua, how to make dua. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us merciful towards each other, to make dua for everyone, for all humanity. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fastings, our qiyam, our standing in the prayers, our reading of the Quran, our ruku and our sujood. and to fulfill all of our needs. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us the ajr, the reward of Laylatul Qadr. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to find out the Laylatul Qadr and to be amongst those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept all our good deeds and to continue to worship Him, to submit Him after Ramadan. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts, to take out from our hearts any kind of the hatred and envy towards each other. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with nur and iman, to enlighten our hearts, our minds with nur, with iman, and to be successful here and hereafter. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. Ameen ya Rabbil Alamin. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, do not forget your last 10 days and the 9th of the month of Ramadan to give zakat al-fitr or what you call it, charity or fitr, whatever you call it. So it is as last year, the minimum that we ate a day around $10. If you ate more, of course, you are encouraged to give more. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting and our sadaqah, our charity. Ameen ya Rabbil Alamin. Allahumma lana al-haqq haqqa wa ittiba'ah wa lana al-batil batil wa ijtinaba. اللهم صل في الخيرات وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارزقنا حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربنا حبك يا رب العالمين. اللهم حبب الينا الايمان والاسلام والاحسان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره لنا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم وحد صفوف المسلمين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بما قال السفهاء منا. اللهم ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. وصل اللهم على سيدنا نبينا محمد في الاولين والاخرين واخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. عباد الله، ان الله يأمر بالعدل والاحسان وايتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن